Welcome to day 25 of the 28-day photo challenge. Today we are doing hidden mirror photography. Now this is gonna add complexity to a photo that's gonna kind of make people think, how did you get that shot? Because you're using a mirror to get a photo of something which is gonna be adding different angles and lighting to whatever you're doing. So we're gonna be combining a few of the previous steps that we've learned into this one.
So this concept is a little bit hard to explain. So I've drawn it out in this very terrible diagram. In this instance here, this box would be the subject that we want to take a picture of. And let's say that the camera all the way up against this wall, that means that the camera isn't going to have enough width to actually get the entire subject in the photo. So we can use mirrors to hide the camera out of sight, but still capture the object. So by placing a mirror here on a 45-degree angle, we have a view of the subject that we want to take a picture of. Placing another mirror here, we now have two parallel 45-degree angles on the mirrors with the reflective surfaces being in different directions. And now the camera can sit further away, so the entire focal range can be the mirror, which will be reflected into the other mirror and then reflected into the subject that we were trying to take a picture of. Now that's just one example of how you can use a hidden mirror. Because if you actually crop out the mirror itself from this picture, then it's just going to look like the camera was sitting in this general area with no mirrors at all. So this gives you the ability to take a picture of something that you wouldn't have normally had the opportunity to take a picture of just using the camera itself with the lens that you have, depending on how close it is. Now another example of this I actually demonstrated in the reflections video, and that's just using a mirror to take a picture of something to make it more interesting than it would naturally be. So for instance, this lens sitting right here. If I take my phone and I have a reflection going across it, I can take a picture in the reflection of the screen to get a different angle on the lens with tons of bokeh of the keyboard in the background. So it gives more elements to look at while the focal point is still the lens. So the objective of this video is to utilize mirrors to get the shot that you want. You're always taking a picture of a mirror without having the camera in the reflection. You're always using reflections to capture whatever you want to take a picture of. Now up here, I'm almost done renovating this washroom, just kind of standing out of the room because there's like a ridiculous amount of reverb coming out of that room right now. Almost in that same instance that I was drawing, this rack here holding the toilet paper. Now if I were to try and take a picture right now, I can't get the entire thing in the shot. Now I could probably move back to get in here, but it's gonna take a few shots before everything's actually lined up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a tripod and the mirror behind me to get a reflection in the mirror of this rack. Now there's two things that we can look at here. One is that we actually have the mirror really far away. Now, the further we are away from the mirror, the smaller everything is going to be. The closer we are, the wider the field of view that we're going to have. So if I just move this mirror on a 45-degree angle, now we can position the camera, and that's going to give us a clear view through the mirror of the rack. Now we have a significantly better view of what we're actually trying to take a picture of. But because we're so far away, it's still kind of cropped in. So now we can physically move closer. Now this would be the difference between zoom and actually moving in on something, because if we zoom in, it's not going to change because that's our field of view. We're zooming in on that. We're not actually changing what's going on. So if we zoom out and move all the way in, now we have a much wider field of view. Now if we wanted, we could zoom in on this, and now being focused in on the toilet paper on the rack. So now you can see that we've gotten the entire rack in the photo using a hidden camera with a mirror. Now we could do this with multiple mirrors, getting different angles, maybe even a different position from something that you wouldn't have normally been able to see. You could also use this to bounce light on something. So if this right here was a light, we'd be shining light directly at the toilet paper rack. Then we could be taking a picture from over here where we have a wider field of view. So we have a direct light coming on it from a different angle, which would be 45 degrees from where we're standing. All of this can be put into using mirrors, which is essentially the scope of this video. It's using mirrors to achieve some kind of photo that you wouldn't have normally been able to get without a mirror. Plus it has the added benefit of leaving the frame of the mirror in the photo, which gives tons of bokeh to show distance, as well as pulling your eyes away from the bokeh toward the subject that you're trying to take a picture of through the mirror. So hopefully you got something useful out of this. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, or don't do any of it. I'm not telling you what to do.